Initially, I would say I'm a storyteller myself. Uh, I started in South Africa. That's where I learned the craft of storytelling, filmmaking, and all that. I went to film school and I graduated from ABDA, and then started making productions with fellow students there. And then gradually, you start to get opportunities, because people start to recognize your potential and all that. So, one production led to another, and bring it to another. And then, because I regard South Africa as my home and Lesotho as my home. So, when I was given the opportunity to come to Lesotho to come and teach film here, I said, why not? Because basically in South Africa I was more of a practitioner than a teacher. So in 2017, I think it was, I was on set for Ring of Lies for Common Films when I get a call to come to and the rest was like, that's why I'm here today. Like any other kid, like when you start growing up, you start being fascinated by images. So instead of sports, I used to go to cinema a lot. So grew up watching those movies, Chuck Norris and all that, but they were big then in my time, and Chinese films, of course. So, but I never thought that, the idea of becoming a filmmaker, I always thought it would be nice to come to be a star, maybe an actor. So, and I went to a high school and I started doing theater. So I started writing plays because I loved reading. So I started writing plays and all that. And then ultimately after matric, I said, so now what? Because I couldn't go to corporate world, And by then, it was during the 90s. So the industry for black people was not open up in South Africa. So I had to wait a bit, And finally, when I got an opportunity to go to film school, through the National Film Foundation program, and then I took it, and I went to film school, and I said, this is where I belong. So I was exposed to, actually, you see, the same thing that actually pushed me when I was young, of watching films, and now I'm here in this institution, and I'm seeing all this equipment, technicians and artists. I'm like, I fit. So, the seed was planted when I was young, and it is something that one may say, it's you either do it or you don't do it. So I don't know if I didn't become a filmmaker, what I don't know. There's a lot actually. There are a lot. I don't know where to start. But Daniel Day-Lewis is a great actor, and of course Sidney Poitier, it's one of those actors, and the list is long, but those are the people that I can pick on. So number one is we don't have an industry in Lesotho. There is no industry at all. So when you start saying you want to do something, you actually have to have a clear picture what you want to do and explain yourself to people thoroughly what you're all about. Number one. And obviously the issue of money, because there's no way that you're gonna get a foundation or corporate people coming and investing into the project, whatever it may be. So that is the issue. So I'm not sure if I don't want to involve the government, right? Because I believe, and this is my personal belief, that as filmmakers or artists, you need to be ahead of the government, right? Because the government has a lot to deal with, and making movies is the least in their priorities. So I believe that as artists, what needs to do is to be ahead and actually educate the government. Look, with this is what you can achieve. So unfortunately, it's not the case here in Lesotho. So there has to be more filmmakers, and the more filmmakers we produce, I think then the government will take notice. Because I think it's the same in other countries out there, whereby filmmakers, they take a step first and then the government follow. Right now, it's just a matter of the government jumping in, but the government will never jump in so long as there are not people taking cameras and shooting. So the issue of money support is number one. Number two, Distribution, of course. You know, you don't have platforms. You may shoot something, but where are you gonna take it to, right? That's number two. And the fact that you do have a national broadcaster, which is good, you know. However, the question is, does the national broadcaster know that you have grassroots filmmakers whereby the two may come together and merge and really produce some stuff? So it's still a huge thing. However, for a person like myself, I'm not even looking international broadcast. I might say take my project and, you know, distribute it somewhere else, and then by the time they get recognition, maybe they may come into the national broadcaster. That's just me. So these are just, you know, several challenges that one encounter when you're about to go into productions. In South Africa, I've been to several productions. Of course, some of movies, and I've worked on television as well. So yeah, I was I don't know where to start. We were just looking into all these things, but television, I think the big break for me came when I was doing there was a television show called Motaung, right? I think it was in 2008 when I'm not sure. I don't remember. Sichabo Morojele, he was the director there, and then he said I should come and produce the making of it. So I started doing that. Apart from that, then I started doing other stuff with Urban Blues, you know, Urban Blues Studios. We did some projects, you know, as a freelancer, of course. And then there were other projects that I did with my fellow schoolmates there who own production companies. Like we used to do we did some films for Mnet, and then yeah. But then the writing, now in writing, you know, I was involved in several projects as a writer. Yeah, so that's where I actually sharpen my skill, you know, especially writing for TV, because then you get invited, hey, come, Rhythm is looking for writers, you know, come, so and so is looking for writers. So you jump in and you become one of the writers, and yeah, this quite a thing, because actually when I came here, you know, so apart from teaching the students, then I sat down with my colleagues and said, guys, as much as we are teachers here, why don't we make some stuff, you know, shoot movies? And then we started a short film, you know, so we should do a short film. We shot a short film called Musico. But as we're busy shooting, I said to these guys, no, we cannot do this as a short film. Why not turn it into television series, you know? Because I saw there was a huge pool, you know, and then I thought to myself, look, if we can develop this into a TV series, it might get more mileage than a short film. Short film is good, but short film won't make much, you know, as opposed to a TV series. As much as it's easier to shoot a short film, harder to do a TV series, especially in Lesotho. So we sat down and then we started putting some writers together, and then started writing, and then we shot a pilot project, 24 minutes. It looked good, and then we started talking to people in South Africa, and then they loved it. They said, look, we're interested in this, but we said this is from Lesotho. They said, oh, Lesotho, how do you intend bringing it to South Africa? I said, look, you guys come on board, then we do the project. But then there were a lot of politics, because now, you know, man, like, look, if it's shot in Lesotho, you're using Lesotho people. Said yes, and the cast Lesotho. Like, all right. Number one, Mzansi Magic told us that their market, it's in Nguni. Right, majority it's in Nguni. So if you're gonna bring a Sesotho, it's fine. They do have a market, but it's just very small. Now they are looking for a project that may include the Nguni languages, so because that's where they get the support from. And then obviously, you know, for those decisions that they make, and then we thought, you know what, we may not even be into their list of priorities. And then it was the SABC, you know, and SABC, it's a government entity, and the government entity said, if we commission, like, should we commission, it means the project should come to South Africa, because it's the government, taxpayers' money. You cannot take the taxpayers' money and then, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, we start with the project. We go, okay, fine, we need to raise the money for the project, because as much as it's a good project, even on our part, we do not want to compromise, number one, the storyline, right? Because this is the Lesotho story, and we needed the Basotho people to play this part. So it was very important for us to stick with the originality, and there is no way that we can change the story and shoot it in South Africa, because somebody was like, I can't remember where, at the some festival, someone says, why don't you can cheat Lesotho and shoot it in Kwakwa, but you look at Kwakwa and Lesotho, it's not the same. The landscape is just different. So we are here with the project, and then we have people who are supporting the project, but obviously it's someone said, okay, I can provide you with transportation, accommodation, you know, but there's no way that you're going to be able to pay the artists, technicians, and all that. So we are still putting it together. It's an ongoing project that is still in development, and then we're hoping maybe by the end of next year it will be done. Hopefully, I'm just, you know. So it's the only project, apart from obviously the other smaller things that we are doing, you know, those documentaries, but the major project is musical. I think it's very important that artists should collaborate. However, I just picked up one thing. Lesotho is not like South Africa. You see, in South Africa, you call somebody, says, look, I've got this, you jump on. Lesotho is not like that. You know, it's not like that. If you're gonna call someone and then you say, I have this thing, can you come on board? And then, I don't know, maybe it's the culture, right? The culture of, do you have money? I'll tell you one thing about South Africa that I experienced. 2004, 2005, 6, 7, the industry wasn't that big, the TV industry. But you know what happened? Immediately when students graduated, film students graduated every year, they made a change on how you can look at the industry. You see students coming to the SABC pitching brilliant ideas, right? And then the SABC started to shift their focus and say, okay, fine, we're having these young kids here with brilliant ideas. Now the old school timers now are sitting back, right? Now these new kids, they're coming up with fresh ideas. Someone has a truck, someone has a camera, someone has lighting. They just want to tell stories, right? And 2005, 6, 7, by the time you get to 2010, things have changed. Even the storylines, and the soapies and all that. Now, I'm saying, why am I telling you this? That it can happen in Lesotho. Provided you have the passion, right? Provided there's passion, because the only thing that drove those students out there, it was passion. But now the worry in Lesotho is that you have few students who would like put themselves together and shoot something. And what is worse, you have people exploiting students, right, who are graduating. Right? It's like, the student is desperate because it's from, you know, when you graduate, you're like, I want to do this and do this. And you get to the industry, and then it hits you hard. And then you see somebody sitting there like, okay, how can I help you? And I want to do this and this and this and this. And then they just get demotivated. Why? Because they don't have support, right? They don't have support. No support from the people who've already been in the industry, right? Instead of, I'll make an example. Let's say I've got a company. I'm running a company, a production company. And then you have these 3, 4 students who just graduated. They come to me and say, look, we have this and this and this. But here's the thing, right? The owner of the company doesn't have the same focus and the same vision, right? And instead of maybe building these students, but no, you know what? You chop them tails, chop, chop, chop. And as a result, the industry doesn't grow. So you find students graduating here, right, as film, but the next time you see them, they're not there. They're somewhere else doing something different. So it's hard for the collaboration to happen, because why? There is no support from out there. There isn't any support. And if you have a camera, you are able to say, you know what, let me have somebody who has a lighting material, let me bring actors together, let's do this. So it becomes hard. So I would wish that maybe you can have this culture of having people together. I mean, I had to go, even now I still get people from South Africa to come for my productions here. Yeah. Yes, I do get some students that I taught, right? I think about 40% the production industry. But then head of departments and the people with equipment, it's people from outside, because I can come to you and say, my brother, can you give me, like, who is this guy? See, that's a problem, so I can't let that demotivate me. If I have something to, I do it. So I would like to see collaboration, right? Those areas being strengthening out, so that people should come together and help one another. Look, what do you have? I have this. What do you have? I have this. Let them tell stories. Let them tell. We don't care. Let them tell stories. I mean, that's how. Is it Nigerian film industry grew? Yeah, they didn't care. So why should we? We should just tell stories and collaborate. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. I'm just hoping that it will happen. People will come together. I still get students coming to consult in terms of story. My services are free. So let me see. What do you want to show? Okay, no, change this, do this. And then I'm thinking I might make a change, right? And then they go and shoot. But the equipment, it's a problem, and equipment is expensive. So if somebody has equipment and you have these students who want to tell stories, or somebody or other filmmakers, not particularly students, there are people who out there who tell their own stories. Let's collaborate, and then let's make the industry grow, and maybe the government will pay attention.
Le hoja batho ba hebisana ka bokgabane ba botjhaba le meetlo ya setjhaba sa heso, bang ba re setjhaba ke setjhaba ka botjhaba le meetlo ya sona. Ha ba bang bona ba re botjhaba le meetlo di felletswe ke nako. Nnete ke hore ditjhaba tsohle di kgetholla ho tse ding ka botjhaba ba tsona. Lebitso la ka ke Puseletso le Hasa.
Once epise ntho e le mfe. Mo ke tla thola ntsolo.
Ka mohla ke le ke se
Se tswa ntlo bona mo. Sena tsai. Nna ke la ka tsa mo rona teng.
Oh, yanda.
Nza o hluko bo bitso ngwana ntja. Ba le shushu, ba mogofe.
A kopelo belo ka mang ke manya dile nako
O nyala le nna a nyala le nna ka enya gae.
O bolela molaetsa o le wa lapeng yeso a ke.
Jwale wena o phetlile fete man.
Che bo ntate. Ha ke lwane. Ke ne ke mpa ke lebeletse hore o tla re tsebisa ha mothati ona wa tamela. A tsebe o kopela.
ke le ga etsisa mang hela maseba ke o kae mo moshanyana a ileng a bolela ha le shobedisa
Ba bantu.
o tlotse bona wa
Se ba ta ngwanaka. Ka nnete mona teng hore ke ntse ka hare. Ha ke lo etsang ka mona wa motho.
Ha o tshisitseng ra ga. Mofuta ona wa bopuseletso o bona. O tla ha nngwe ka le motele.
Mo. Bana ba hao ba o hloka mona. Go ja go tla he motho wa nna. Ha ona sebaka se fetang le hae.
empa monna wa mofuta enwa ke botulo ba petruha o nkgatloge ke hlanane
Ke ntse go ka le me. Ke go ga o ntse ka meputwana ya hao e sena motheo. Ho ha ke le ha ne po.
That's it. Bona ke bitse batla nka ditse.
Ba ntse le fa.
Okay, lebitso la ka ke Mamokone Liphoto. Ka be ke hlahetse matseng ha Mabele ka kena sekolo teng ho tloha primary go fihleletse ho high school from there ke le ka fihla ka nka gap year because ne ke se sure because ne ke batla ho etsa teaching accounting ya ba fashion design so ka be ke kgetha fashion design yona ka fihla ka etsa le mkhonkwini so tabeng ena na ya makeup ka gola was introduced to it ka year 3 mo ne re etsa hair makeup so ke mo ke le ka ba lerato le la makeup so from there ke le ka ithuta privately bana go tšwe the basic fela well people love my work gore tla be ba commenta gore ga batla go sebetsa le wena ke tla be go approach ke batho ba bangata haholo but then ho tla bo ba le bo motho a le mong fela o atla okay I want to work with you bana ba bang be ntse ba hai ha rena le thokapo nka sebetsa le wena mahala e be ke o promote and then e be tla ke sebedise ntho tsa ka for sweet nothing yeah but ke approach ke batho ba bangata so ntwe ngwe ke hlokometseng ke gore se ke approach le ke ba ka ntle so ya ba this corona thing so far I'm the only one because ntwe ha ke tla hlokomela gore ke mo ke bitsitswe ke batho ba bangata gore ke ka dile ho ngolwa like body newspaper different of them and ntse ba ngola bo ntwe le then ka bitsa on radios bang interviewer because ne ba ifumana ile surprising because at first people ne ba re ke le satanist so ihlile ntse ba so ba so tsibe ka yona because yeah so ba bang ba re if ha ke lona it tla nkena go it gets into me since there are so many artists in the country so ihlile batho se ba utlwisisa so yeah ba bang ke nete ba tla blogger ba we love your work but ya tshosa so kana go it's all ke feel sharp yeah se ba utlwisisa ke batla ho explore like travel the whole world ke nka yona this industry but at the end ntse ke batla go tlela Lesotho to make hore batho ba manene ba tsebe more about it well I once approached one but he wanted me to involve my business in politics so then I refused some they come to me but they want me to promote them because batla ke etse dintho mahala and so yeah so ke ba approachile now I can hope but maybe but I well I want to thank you Mr. Luanga and lectures tsa le mkhonkwini benze ke sebetsa le bona and people who believed me ba batla ho sebetsa bo Gawelo le Phema Trini yeah I want to thank you all because you are making my dream come true.